Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to paint your motorcycle on a budget with store-bought materials. First thing you will need is general purpose primer. You can get all these items at your auto store. I got mine from O'Reilly's. This is Duplicolor Universal Black. This is meant for a car, so it's a little better quality. And I also got Clear Coat, same brand, Duplicolor. So for sanding before the primer, I used a 400 grit sandpaper, and then I also got a pack of 2000 grit for finishing. These are the items I'm going to be painting today. You want to get them real clean. As you can see, I have some splash from my chain on this fender here. And I'm also not going to worry too much about the undersides because it is just a spray paint job. In the future I may get a better paint job done. But here we go. So first thing you want to do is use a sponge. This will form to the surfaces better so you don't have a hard surface rubbing through corners. Doesn't matter so much on the initial sanding of the fiberglass because it's plastic, sorry, injection mold plastic, because it's not painted, it's just plastic. So I start off with basically scratching the surface on these pieces just so the primer will adhere a lot better and then you don't have peeling down the road. And you can also get imperfections off the plastic because the injection mold plastic doesn't always come in perfect shape. Once finished sanding, I cleaned both of these fairings with isopropyl alcohol. This removes any kind of oils or any contaminants that might get underneath the primer paint and make it not stick. Here's a better look at the oil that came off my chain. Since I don't have a chain guard yet, you definitely want to get this off there before you start painting. So I used the isopropyl alcohol for that. I realized that the rag was not getting all of the dust off, and you definitely don't want that on there when you're painting. So I took it out to the hose, gave it a good spray, and let it dry in the sun and wiped it off. You definitely need to make sure it's all the way dry before you start painting. Alright, now that everything is clean and dried off, I hung it up in my garage That way I can get both the top and the bottom surfaces. I also put the primer can in hot water. This helps the flow and the spray come out a lot more even, and it saves you from some headaches. For the first layer of primer, you want to make sure you're doing really light coats just to kind of make the surface sticky, and you're not really trying to do a full coverage right now, just to make the initial layer. You want to do 2 light coats, giving about 10 minutes in between each coat, and then you can start on more of a medium coat. That's what this part is here. You can see it's on a little more even, and I usually do about 2 medium coats, and that's usually enough. As you can see here, I had a little bit of a splatter. On the primer, that's okay. You'll be able to sand that out. You'll have to be a little more careful when we start the color coats, though. I got a little carried away and sprayed too much here, but it should be able to be sanded out. We'll see how it turns out. Now that I let the primer dry for about a half hour, I can wet sand it with the 2000 grit sandpaper. I should have soaked the sandpaper for about 10 minutes before doing this, but this is sort of my first time, so I kind of forgot some details. Later in the video, when I wet sand the clear coat, I do soak it, and it definitely is a lot easier to use. You want to keep a spray bottle with you, that way you can keep the surfaces wet, and you can even have some soapy water in there or just water. Both is okay. You want to sand in the direction of the contours of the piece. So in my case, I'll be sanding from bottom to top and top to bottom. It just makes for a more uniform sand job. You do have to be careful not to sand the edges and creases too hard, because you end up burning through to the plastic underneath, and you'll be able to see that. As you're sanding, use your other hand to feel how the paint feels underneath. If you feel rough spots, then that spot needs more sanding. When it all feels smooth with the water, then you're in good shape. Once you're finished with wet sanding and cleaning with isopropyl alcohol, you're ready for the first coat of color. And the same thing, you want to take your time and lay down a couple coats real light, that way you have a sticky surface for the paint to stick to. It'll be the same motions, back and forth. Make sure you're starting the spray before you hit the panel. And you can do 2 light coats, and I usually finish with 2 medium coats. Too much of a coat, too heavy of a coat, rather, will cause running and uneven paint. So unfortunately my camera died and I did not get the process of putting the clear on. It's about the same as throwing the color and the primer down, 2 light coats, and then a little bit heavier than medium coats of the clear. And then the most important thing is to let the clear coat dry I let mine dry for 2 days. If it's too soft, then you can burn through a lot easier. So in my opinion, this is the most important step. I should have went with a little bit lower grit than 1500, but I did end up buying a 1500 grit sanding block, wet sanding block. I should have went with something a little lower, maybe 1200. I think that's a thing. Started with that, sanded a little more with the 1500, and spent a lot more time with the 2000 that I'm going to move to. In the end, I do have some orange peel. I'm not super worried about it because this is just a garage job with spray paint on a budget, so I'm not looking for professional paint here, but you'll see how it turns out. It is the same motions as using the 2000 on the primer that we did. Make sure the surface is very wet. I did soak the sanding block and the sandpaper for a good 20 minutes, and it really did make a difference. The sandpaper itself and the block is a lot more pliable, so it contoured around some of the edges, and really I didn't really have much burning at all. Burning, I mean cutting through the clear coat to the paint. And you just want to follow the contours of the piece that you're sanding, and you can keep checking with your hand to feel when it's getting smoother and you're smoothing out rough points. So here's where I move over to the 2000 grit. I think this is the most important step because this is where I should have taken a little more time and really got through the rough spots of the clear coat, and I think I would have had a just about mirror finish. So I'll make a note for next time I'm painting just to spend a lot more time sanding. Don't sand too much because then you'll go through to the paint, but just you know, take a little more time, and it's worth it in the end. Once you're finished wet sanding with the 2000 and you've cleaned off the part that you're sanding with the isopropyl alcohol, you want to grab some rubbing compound. In my case, I grabbed Meguires Ultimate Compound to get all the swirls and kind of even out all the scratches. And this is where the fender paint is really going to start to come together. To start with the Meguires Compound, I dabbed a little bit on the actual piece that I'm compounding and began to move in swirling motions, kind of overlapping each swirl. And you can do this as many times as you need to. It only gets better. I probably should have spent a little more time on it, but you'll see it really makes a difference. So here's what it looks like after compounding and getting the swirls and scratches out. It's starting to look pretty good. Next I grabbed the Ultimate Polish by Meguires, and this will pull out all the little swirl scratches on the surface and will make a really nice shine and get the paint surface ready for wax. I won't show you both pieces, but this is what the one piece comes out to with a couple coats of polish on it. It's really looking good. Now the last step is to put wax on the surface. I chose to use Collinite. It is airplane, boat, car. It's kind of a all-around good wax. I've been using it for a while on my car, and it really does a great job. The tactic to putting it on is to not put too much, but to swirl it across the whole surface. Then you want to let it start drying until it starts to haze. And then you want to wipe that off with a terry cloth or any kind of cloth, and then use a microfiber towel to really get it to shine, because that'll pull all the rest of the dried wax off. Alright, so this is what it looks like with the coat of wax on. I think it looks really good for a spray paint job. Like I said, I could have spent a lot more time sanding, but I think it's okay for now. My bike isn't perfect, so. And then here's what it looks like on the bike. For a couple of spray cans and just some elbow grease, I think it looks pretty good. I'll link all the products in the description, and if you guys are enjoying these videos, go ahead and give me a subscribe and hit the notification bell. Till next time.